What's up everybody, it's Ace once again, and today I'm bringing in a new series to the channel that I hope you guys enjoy, where I'm going to be making Pokemon teams for a lot of the Bleach characters, obviously starting with Ichigo. Now I kind of got this idea from Tekken 101 when he decided to do this with the Toby Ruffle over on One Piece, and I thought that was a really great idea for a video, but I'm going to do it with the Bleach characters obviously. Now the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have at least one starter, four regular Pokemon, and then a legendary, because I think that's like the generic way how you build Pokemon teams usually. So I thought that would be a good way to do it. Um, Another thing, I'm not going to use Doublade or Honedge because a lot of the characters are Shinigamis or even Arankars. They still use swords, so you can kind of use Honedge and Doublade for basically every single character that's not a Quincy, which is a lot. So I didn't want to do that because I thought that would be a little bit cheap. So I wanted it to be, or I wanted to try to make it as unique as I could. Obviously, there are going to be repeats here and there, but I thought this would be the best way to do it. There might be other Pokemon that I might need to take out as well, but we'll figure that out as we go. Now, before we get into the actual video, let's shout out today's sponsor. The sponsor in today's video is Dubby. Now, if you're a gamer out there, you should obviously know what G-Fuel is. Dubby is just like this, but way better. It has a lot of cool flavors, really cool cups that you can use, and all at a really low price. So if you want to make your first ever purchase, click the link down below and use code SCARLET. You guys can get 10% off your first ever purchase. Thank you guys for supporting my channel, and thank you Dubby for sponsoring today's video. So for Ichigo's starter, I decided to go with Decidueye. Out of all the starter Pokemon, I think Decidueye definitely fits the best, as it uses arrows, and Ichigo is a Quincy from his mother Masaki. And it's also Ghost type, which is also very relevant because when we first meet Ichigo, his main thing is that he can see spirits and that he can see ghosts and all that stuff. And then obviously when he becomes a Shinigami, he kind of becomes a ghost himself. So I thought that was like a very fitting thing for him, just for a starter Pokemon. So my next pick was Annihilate. I thought Annihilate definitely fit Ichigo's like hollow side a little bit, because like anytime that Ichigo gets in a fight and he's like losing like with Byakuya or with Okiura, he tends to turn into like white, the hollow that's inside of him. So Annihilate, in a weird way, like it's not really stated this or anything, but it's kind of like Annihilate has to die or something like that. I think that's like how people describe it. It's like a primate dies and then it evolves into Annihilate, which I kind of like. When I looked at that, I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of Vaster Lord when Ichigo pretty much like got his whole chest blown open, and then all of a sudden he turns into Vaster Lord and he starts whooping ass. So I kind of thought Annihilate with that. Plus, it's a fighting ghost type. Ichigo's a fighter. He's also Shinigami. So yeah, that. And with his hollow side, if you look at the Pokedex entry, at least with Scarlet, it states that when its anger rose beyond a critical point, this Pokemon gained power that is unfettered by the limits of its physical body. So I thought that definitely connected a lot to Ichigo's hollow side at least, but that's just me. This is definitely one Pokemon that I don't think fits him the greatest. You could probably switch this out with a couple other Pokemon, but I thought this was a good pick. So the next one is also kind of a weird one. I had to pick Scrafty. Again, really, really weird. But looking at Scrafty, like, doesn't he not look like something Kubo would kind of like depict with his characters? Because Kubo with like when he does all the different outfits for the characters for like Ichigo and them. Scrafty kind of fits the part in a weird sort of way. It kind of fits the part. So that's like I saw it, I was like, okay, well you kind of already got that aspect. And then I decided to look at its Pokedex entry, and there's actually one that I thought fit Ichigo perfectly. And this is why I went with it. In Ultra Sun, the Pokedex entry states that this Pokemon may be rude, but it takes very good care of its family, its friend, and its turf. And I thought that's literally perfect for Ichigo. Ichigo is known for always wanting to take care of his family, his friends, and always wanting to protect them. Like that's his whole goal. So I thought this was like actually very, very perfect for him. And again, his style literally just fits right at home when I first saw it. So I was like, okay, I think he would like to have a Scrafty on his team. So I put Scrafty on. Again, a very weird one along with Annihilate, but I don't even care. I think Scrafty is perfect. Okay, so again, we have another fighting type on the list. And I promise this is the last one. Like, you guys are probably like, dude, why are there so many fighting types? But honestly, it still kind of fits in my opinion because Ichigo likes to go out and fight, to protect his family and everything. So I still think it kind of is very fitting. But the next Pokemon that I thought Ichigo would use is Gallade. Gallade's actually been known to be a very good swordsman. It's brought up a lot in all of its Pokedex entries that it has very good swordsmanship. It likes to protect people. It's kind of like a knight in a way. Kind of how like Gardevoir is like this like princess type thing. It's kind of like hinted that like Gallade's like this like very strong warrior type Pokemon that would like try to protect others. And since obviously Ichigo uses a sword, and I already had the Seadrive with like the bow and that being its Quincy powers. Then you got Annihilate with the Homo powers. We didn't really touch on the Shinigami powers really, so I thought Gallade would kind of be perfect. And as I stated before, I didn't want to use I didn't want to use a Double Aid or anything like that because I feel like you can use that Pokemon for like any other Shinigami, and I didn't want that to be like a common Pokemon you see on every single one of these videos. So that's why I didn't want to go with it. But this was a good secondary pick, and it definitely fits more with Ichigo just because again he's a protector. So I thought this was a really good pick. And then obviously, if you played Scarlet and Violet, you just have to have this Pokemon. Ceruledge. How can you not? It's literally a Pokemon with dual-wielded swords, right? Ichigo uses dual-wielded swords at the very end of the story. He's Ghost. Ichigo's a Shinigami, right? Now, he does have fire. Like, he's also a fire type. I guess you could say, like, that is kind of indicative of, like, when Ichigo might use, like, his Saros or something. Like, from the Hellverse movie, there's that one scene where, like, he blows open the gates of hell and there's, like, that huge fire blast that shoots out. Like, I guess you could say that would be really, really good. But this was also another pick that I want to be, like, indicative of his Shinigami powers. So I'll do both Pokedex entries for Scarlet and Violet. So we'll do Scarlet first. But the fiery blades on its arms burn fiercely with the lingering resentment of a sword wielder who fell before accomplishing their goal. So I thought this was, like, it had to be on the list just because of this. At the very beginning, the very first episode, Rukia is protecting Ichigo. She has her assignment to go out and kill Hollows before she has to go back to the Soul Society. But she can't do that. So she gives, like, she, pretty much stabs Ichigo. And then he uses his hollow powers to go on and do the work that she can't. So I kind of just thought that was like a perfect way to just sum it up. How this Pokemon would be very fitting along with Ichigo. And in Violet, it says, an old set of armor steeped in grudges caused this Pokemon's evolution. Ceruledge cuts its enemies to pieces without mercy. Obviously, Ichigo, he's a very strong Shinigami. He, slays his foes, especially when he goes into his hollow form. He's very ruthless, so you had that as well. But I thought Ceruledge was literally perfect. It was one of the first Pokemon that I thought about with this list. So I put it on the list mainly just because of how cool it is and how perfect it is for like a Shinigami like Ichigo. But then with that Pokedex entry, it was cemented. And then going in for the final Pokemon on the list, which would be the legendary, I decided to go with Arceus. Now, Arceus or Arceus, however you want to pronounce it, that was so weird. But like for side tangent, all right. This is just for me. How do you guys actually pronounce like Arceus or Arceus? Because I remember as a kid when I was watching the anime, I've always pronounced it as Arceus. But then out of nowhere, people are like, "No, idiot, it's Arceus," and I'm like, when the fuck did this ever? I don't know. Like, it bugs me. Tell me in the comment section, like, how do you guys pronounce it? Because it bugs me. Like, I used to say Arceus, but now everyone's saying Arceus, so, like, now I've been trying to, like, change it. Do you guys pronounce it like that? Or, like, or any other pronunciations? I've heard other ones, too. But getting back to the video. Getting back to the main part of the video. The reason why I chose Arceus is obviously Arceus is like the god of all Pokemon. And in Bleach, you have the Soul King. He's kind of like the deity of all like Shinigami, pretty much. I would say. And so there's a moment where like they brought this up in the light novels as well. I don't know too much, but from what I've heard, it basically states that Ichigo is a candidate to become the Soul King because he has, human, he's a Shinigami, Hollow, Quincy, like he's all the different races put together. So he's like a candidate for the Soul King. But there's also a moment where Ichibe is like, oh, well, I can make you into the Soul King, like if need be, like if we need to, I'll turn you into the Soul King or whatever, because the Soul King at this point had been killed by Yuha. So I thought that was also kind of like really, really perfect. And I just thought this was all perfect just because like obviously the Soul King is like the god of all the Shinigami, and then you get Arceus, he's the god of all the Pokemon. He pretty much started everything. So I just kind of thought that was a perfect one. There could be other ones like you can use Zacian or Zamazenta because one has the sword, one has the shield. And I think they're both good candidates. You could have used those two as well. But I decided to go with Arceus. I thought Arceus would be perfect for Ichigo specifically, just because he's like one of the only other people that can do it. I don't think I know there's one like new character in the light novel, but I don't know if there's. Well, I guess you could say using Carlian would also be good candidates for that. Now that I'm thinking about it, because they have all the mix, just maybe not as much as Ichigo, but they have the Quincy Hollow and all that stuff as well. So I guess they're all candidates, so I thought Arceus would be perfect. But again, let me know in the comment section like what Pokemon you guys would pick for Ichigo. This was a very fun video that I wanted to do, and I'm gonna be doing more. I'm probably gonna do Rukia next. So if you guys want to, you guys can leave your list for Ichigo. Tell me why, and then if you want, you can also leave who you guys think should be for Rukia, like what Pokemon you guys think Rukia should have, and then let me know why. And if I think it's a very good reason, I'll even put it in the next video. Like I'll shout you out and all that stuff, so you guys can get the credit for it. Cause I don't want to just like, be like, oh yeah, I thought of this somehow. I don't want to do that. So if you guys want, go ahead and comment down below, and then just tell me you guys like this. Like I think this would be a very fun series. I at least want to do this for all the main characters. So like Ichigo, Rukia, Uryu, Chad. Eventually we'll have to do Orihime. I really don't want to do her. But we'll do like all the main characters and maybe like some of the main Shinigami like Byakuya, Renji, all of them. But I don't know if I'll do every single character, but we'll just see. We'll see how this goes. But again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like this, and I'll see you guys next time.